Worth every penny.
Totally worth the price of admission. Looked around and glowered at everybody. As it is now 11, I assume the conversation is over. That's great, thank you. I did this panel at another convention, and there were a few people in the room, roughly 400.
Yeah, maybe 5.
And there was lots of 400 separate conversations happening. I walked through the middle of the aisle, and I said, "Silence!" Somebody asked me much later, "How did you do that?" I can't do that any other facet of my life. I can do it like that. Come in, sit down, there's empty seats. If you sit behind the pole, you won't see anything. I also won't see you, so
There's that.
there's that. Oh, hello. Look, a fellow. Another fellow. This is amazing. There's like 3 guys. All right, I'm gonna start this off the way that I normally do, but just sort of taking a subtle sort of roll call, just to see exactly who I have in the room. So, by some small amount of noise, nothing that competes with ego likeness, and Mr. Archer's that. But if you could just, by show of some sort of noise, how many Gryffindors do I have in here? And Ravenclaws. Slytherin. That's all 3 houses. Oh, yes. Twihards. No, just kidding. Hufflepuffs.
They all left.
You're a Hufflepuff, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, as I understand it, in the Hufflepuff dormitory, the woman's section is this endless expanse, and then you 3 guys have like a broom club where you have to stand. It's not even like... No?
No.
I've been horribly lied to.
Yeah.
On the plus side, every other house is equally divided, and you have a lot of
Yes.
who like to make sandwiches, is understandable.
I don't get it.
I do like a good sandwich.
Yes. It's nice.
Mutton, lettuce, and tomato special. It's a reference for the over 30 crowd. All right. I've said this before, I'm going to say this again. It makes walking around considerably easier. Try not to read into this. I see being on time wasn't a priority. We have seats available. You can split up that way. You know, I won't remember again. Come sit down. Don't read into this. The moment happens very quickly. Okay, I already don't have a Hufflepuff affinity, so let's not dial that up. Sir. All right, for those of you who know who I might actually be, let's just gloss over that for now. I've done this at several conventions and several things, and basically this is the gist of this is how it works. If you've ever wanted to ask me a question, I have a few based on the board. Who wrote Aunt Ravenclaw?
I did. You should
Well
know.
done. Well done. at every panel I do, there's eventually some point where the Hufflepuffs, and we'll see how this works today, sir. There's eventually one point where the Hufflepuffs leave. And then the whole of the audience will sing.
This is where the Hufflepuffs leave. This is where the Hufflepuffs leave.
There they go now.
This is where the Hufflepuffs
See you
leave.
later.
This is where the Hufflepuffs leave. And Ravenclaw.
Because there's always one Ravenclaw following them. I don't know why. I don't trust Hufflepuffs. I don't trust Hufflepuffs. Anyhow, I'm sorry. I get distracted by their creepy, scary name.
Badgers?
No, badgers are fine. I've got no problem with badgers. Badgers are the reason I'm here today, for those of you who don't know. Go on to How It Should Have Ended, look up Harry Potter, How It Should Have Ended, and embrace my favorite honey badger, anti-venom. Totally worth it. Worth the price of admission or the price of logging onto the internet. All right, so to get things rolling, who has a question that they've always wanted to ask Snape but have never been able to do so until 6 minutes ago? Yes, you.
Have you ever considered appearing in Neville Longbottom's grandmother's clothes?
More disturbing is that Neville has considered me appearing in There is a photo from LeakyCon a couple of years ago where I danced with Boggart Snape. So you can see me and me. That's mildly disturbing. But no, I personally haven't considered that. All right, who has another question for me? Yes, in the front row.
Mary Bane Kill.
Mhm.
Harry Potter, James Potter, Remus Lupin.
Just one more time for me.
Mary Van Kill,
Uh-huh.
Harry Potter, James Potter, Remus Lupin. I know where she's
I don't know where you're going. These are just words and not questions.
Oh, so you can pick those
Okay,
three options of those
Mary
three
Bane.
Choose one to marry, choose one to bang, choose one to
I think it's slightly inappropriate to ask Professor who you would like to bang. I don't need to kill James Potter. He's dead. What else do you want to
She's trying for the Slytherin spots.
say that? Who are the other three again?
Harry, James, Remus.
Well, in order to bang one of them would have to be a female, because as we all know, Dumbledore is gay, but Snape is not. There's that whole pining after Lily thing that gave away my orientation. Thought you would have
Well, since one's already dead, you got two options.
Actually, two of them are dead.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're just down to young Harry. And I have no desire to any one of those three things, Mr. Potter. So I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to answer this question in the way that's going to make fangirls happy. Somebody back there had their hand up. Yes, sir.
Hi, reporting from which weekly? What type of eyeliner do you use?
Coal Black by Chanel. And nothing less than that. It's fantastic. If you've never tried it, it's fantastic. It comes in a pencil, it's very soft. There are seats up here if you'd rather sit or not. This is where the leavers leave and the stayers stay. Or if you're a Hufflepuff, this is where you've left. All right. Anybody else? Question not related to my makeup. Yes.
Drink of choice?
That's a fine question. I have several, actually. Alcoholic and non-alcoholic.
How about you answer both of those?
Very well. Non-alcoholic, I love Coca-Cola. Unfortunately, a certain someone has been trying to wean me off of Coca-Cola. I won't mention her name. She's sitting in the back of the room, pinching the brow of her nose. Apparently, it actually contains carcinogens, and I can't have it, so I'm rather fond of Blue Mountain Dew, or really, really strong ginger ale, the kind of ginger ale that smacks you in the back of the noggin. As far as alcoholic drinks, I prefer amaretto. Most often in my margarita, which is technically called an Italian margarita, or a caipirinha, which is a gin made with Brazilian rum. Can't be simple, how can I?
Oh.
Don't push it, master. I like to mix. All right, who's got another question for me? See, if you don't ask me any questions, then I will start asking you questions. Yes, sir.
What's with the Huffle hate?
In every family, there's got to be one scapegoat. And your name is Hufflepuff. You're kind of asking for it. I mean, the obvious choice, of course, for the directed hate is Slytherin. Here's something that I've often wondered. When, if you recall in either the book or the movie, there was the moment when young Mr. Potter came forth near the very end, and Voldemort did that Lex Luthor Superman thing. I'm talking to all of you now. Kill Harry Potter. Turn him over to me. Leave now and I will spare your lives. I'm quoting a different movie. Looking for the one Road Warrior fan out there.
You're not doing it with a very deep accent and not going like this.
Yes. I spare you lives.
Oh, kill them all!
I'm beginning to like your You may, what's your name?
Q.
That's a letter, sir. And unless you can be everywhere at once and look like Mr. Delance, I'm not.
Why not?
Because I said it would. All right.
I'll point out that there were multiple cues.
There were indeed multiple cues. Thank you for pointing that out.
I am Q.
All right then. You might be turning the tide for Hufflepuff. Nearly single-handedly, sir. Really. I got sidetracked in my head.
Kill you all.
Yes,
turn
thank
it
you,
in.
thank you, Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
The thing that I've always wondered is, and granted, when the young Slytherin girl was like, somebody grab him, and then McGonagall said, you should just put all the Slytherins in the dungeon, all of them, the entire 1/4 of the school in the dungeon. You just march them down, Filch. You just all, however many hundreds, 8 teachers, however many hundreds of students, we'll just run them all down to the dungeon because every single Slytherin is obviously evil. You're about to fight a giant war, and you took 1/4 of your defenses and went, let's just put them in the dungeon. That's good thinking. That leaves us with Ravenclaws, Gryffindors, and your house. I'm not saying that you don't have good soldiers, but really,
We're more support.
you are really much more support.
Rearmament, logistics, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the background.
They're like a
work.
cheerleader.
Cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder. It's the second time today I've heard you phrase. I don't know what it is about this year's Wicked, but cannon fodder is becoming a recurring theme.
Mind you, as this cannon fodder, most of them were ladies, so how does that look on the Death Eaters? I mean, killing.
No, but cannons are awful phallic, and you're taking this conversation to a different direction. I'm going to get away from the Hufflepuff for a moment, but yeah, that's my thing. I just always wondered why the entire 4th of the school had to be shunned moments before battle.
It's because we're awesome.
Well, were they friend or foe though? Was that Porter actually supportive, or would that Porter been working against her? That was the decision she had to make.
I think whenever you broadly generalize an entire group of people based on the actions of one person, you
Peter
make a
Pettigrew.
error.
Oh, well, you do it to the puffs, so.
No, I've changed my mind based on this
One
distracted
puff.
fellow right here. Yes.
Do you happen to have Snape's first day of potions class speech memorized? And if so, would you deliver it?
It's
in the book.
Yes, but in the book I have to say dunderheads. I could, but I've already taken the robe off and I don't get to do the swoosh. The swoosh is very crucial to that scene. But yes, I can say there will be no sleeve wand waving or incantations in this class.
Teach you.
As such, I could. My favorite thing to say to people when they say, will you quote this line, will you say this, will you say, turn to page 394. And all those things, my favorite response to people is this. No. That's another thing I don't understand. I do all these Snape panels and they're half filled with laughter. I've read the books, I've seen the movies, I've been in front of several classrooms and it's always that, and I almost considered doing Snape's stand-up for 3 Death Eaters and a Hufflepuff walk into a bar. You'd think one of them would have seen it. Yes.
May I have your personal opinion on the Durmstrang Institute?
On the Durmstrang School of Magic. Absolutely.
It's just a statement.
I have no problem. I mean, it's a school. It's a fine school. You know, he and I have our differences, and the fact that he once again tried to out me just to better his situation, I'm not particularly fond of him. The school as a school is a fine enough school. I have no direct beef with the institute. The person, however, if looks could kill, he would have been dead long ago. You can come sit down, we have places. Maybe we'll all make fun of you because you showed up late.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
So, what did Harry Potter ask you when you replied, "No, thank you, Mr. Potter"?
I was rather hoping to avoid that question.
My shoes scares your shot. Sorry.
You know, I'm often find myself in situations, I put it out there, you can ask me anything. And then I almost immediately regret it. The brilliant thing about being Snape is that I have the rather keen ability to not answer questions. And it's served me rather well in years. Do you want the honest answer?
Actually, that's the more fun one, for sure.
It isn't the more fun one, sadly. I could leave you hanging would be more fun. The honest answer is that Mr. Mack named this panel. I would never call it that. But Mr. Mack thought it'd be rather clever and funny. He obviously assumed I'd have some witty retort for this question. Sadly, I do not.
Just make it up.
I could. No, thank you. Fancy a tea biscuit? No, thank you. We're gonna go sledding? No. Hermione just sexted Ron. Would you like to see this? No. Why did he show you? No. Mr. Haunter. So yes, any number of those I suppose would be fine. Yes.
What would you call it if you had a
I often call it Severus 101. I'm very much considering getting a sort of wheel so that whenever the sort of questions die down, we sort of spin the wheel, and then I can talk about the Marauders or
Good idea.
stuff. Usually somewhere around mid questionage, the conversations always turn to, how did you feel? I don't want to talk about that. I did a panel on some child, some small person in the front row, about 5 years old, looked at me, sitting in front of his parents, looked at me with his big 5-year-old eyes, raised his little hand. I stood very tall over him, hoping to have him scared to not ask me a question. I said yes, and he said, did your parents love you? Because Chanel Coal Black is fairly waterproof. I'm not joking, I really do wear that. It's a very difficult thing to explain to a 5-year-old person in front of their parents what it was like being Snape growing up, because the truth of the matter is they were neglectful, but telling a 5-year-old what it means to be neglectful is a very complicated thing. So I looked at him and I said, you have a lot of toys, right? He said, yes. I said, do you like to play with all your toys? And he said, yes. And I said, sometimes you take your toys outside and you really have a fun time playing with all your things. And he said, yes. And you always put all of your toys back away where they go. I know, and nobody does. Even at however old we are, we still don't put our stuff back where it goes. I knew that. I said, it's not that you don't like your toys, or it's just that you don't always take the best care of your toys, even though you like them. You don't always do what's best for them. That's how my parents were. And I managed to explain being neglectful to a 5-year-old in front of his parents without them shooting me out the door. Parents are sometimes prone to doing. Earlier in that exact same panel, there was another set of children on this side, and one boy had been beating the snot out of his younger sister. And his tiny little fist was edging closer and closer to her tiny little eye. And their parents were in the back of the room. And I didn't want bloodshed to happen in the middle of my talk, so I did what I think every professor in the world has wanted to do. I walked over, I picked up the child by the scruff of the back of his jacket. I, honest to God, picked up someone's child in front of him, picked him up, sat him, and ushered him where he walked around the back of the room to his parents, who spoke that parent talk through their teeth. I didn't hear a peep out of him for the rest of the demo. The little girl, on the other hand, survives. I've saved 2 lives. Thank you, Mr. Potter. So, any other questions? Oh, yes, you.
What's Snape's best memory?
What's my best memory? Meaning, Lily?
We know your worst memory.
Meeting Lily, actually connecting with someone and feeling like for the very first time I belong. Not painful at all, things
Professor, what's your favorite movie?
What's my favorite movie? I'm rather fond of Galaxy Quest. Sense and Sensibility, actually. There's something about that movie that really speaks to me specifically. There's a movie called Blow Dry that's actually quite nice. The Die Hard series, the first one was good. The other one, there was something, they weren't quite getting right, that they had gotten right in the first one. Perfume is a fine film. There's a musical called Sweeney Todd. It's quite nice, actually.
Didn't you die in that one?
Don't forget Bottle Shock.
I never forget Bottle Shock.
It's your doppelganger's birthday today, I think.
I thought it was yesterday.
Was it today or yesterday?
Today.
What's the day?
Is it today
Today's
still?
the 22nd.
Oh, that's right, because it's
Today.
still today, because we're not quite at midnight yet.
Wow.
Yes, someone turned 66 today, right?
No, older.
Older, 68?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was around. So yes, no, it's truthfully, actually, it really is Galaxy Quest and Sense and Sensibility. And a little film called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, they're dead. You awesome.
Yeah.
So, yes, sir. You had that sort of, you wanted to say something and then didn't. So.
I got one, but I was going to save it for a little while.
No, it's okay. Let it out now.
Two-part question.
Okay.
I watch a lot of Maury Povich.
A lot of Maury Povich.
Yeah.
It's Connie Chung's husband's show.
And I got the sense that you and Lily were having sex. Do you think that Harry Potter might have been
This is the first part. Is that both parts?
Yeah, that was the one.
Okay. No, Lily and I never had the sex. Yes, I'm well aware how tragic that is. Thank you. No, Harry Potter is not my child. What Harry Potter is, now that you brought it up, thank you so very much, is the painful reminder of what I didn't have and couldn't have. Not only did he have his mother's eyes, but he was the spitting image of James. And it just, people ask me all the time, why were you so, angry or mean to Harry Potter? And there are numerous reasons, but the fact that he embodies what I can't have. Trying to get me to feel sorry. Yeah, I did ask for it in fairness. I will kill you later. Good night, Wesley. I almost like to kill you in the morning. The other thing, and this is it, along with the lines that people say, why couldn't you just been a little nice to him? Couldn't there have been one moment when you were just slightly bit friendly to him? No. No, because as you all know, the Dark Lord saw into his mind if he did see me being nice to him even just one time, the whole of everything is blown, so. Yes.
What makes you laugh? Like a very joyful, down-to-your-soul laugh. Since Lily. But what has touched you emotionally
After
in a good
Lily's
way
death,
since
what has
Lily?
made me laugh? I've been working on this since I arrived here this afternoon. Tell me what you think of this, all right? It's a smile. I'm told they can be quite effective. I smiled once for an audience, and I've never felt more like Wednesday Addams in my entire life. It's a really bizarre slow motion moment. I don't laugh down to the core. I don't do that. I'm sure there are writers somewhere that will write that I do that, but I don't. You're making me shake my head a lot more than I want to. It's kind of creeping me out. Yes?
You explained why you were unable to be polite to Harry.
Yes.
Why Neville? Why bully Neville?
I was intensely strict on Neville. J.K. Rowling actually answers this question. She stated when the subject had come up, why do some people perceive me to be an unpleasant teacher or unnecessarily mean to people who showed up in class late?
Sorry, I couldn't find a parking spot.
All right, well, they've cleared a spot for you over here, so you can park there.
Thank you, sir.
But J.K. Rowling's answer to this question is that there are several lessons that students need to learn and that children need to learn, and one of them is that not all teachers are nice. So she wrote the book in such ways to make people think that I was mean than I was. You know? That's my answer. I'm sticking to it. Just direct. Yes.
I have to apologize in advance for this, but so what are your thoughts on Yowie? Because you feature prominently in it. I'm a huge Snarry shipper. I'm sorry.
This is some sort of anime Japanese term
Yes.
that involves
Yeah.
inappropriate relationships between people that people would like to see. As I understand
Inappropriate, just
it is when it
unlikely,
involves me.
Sorry.
That's okay. I have no problem with various alternate relationships or anything. That's all fine, as long as people are of age and consenting
So
and
no
in
Chan.
agreement. Huh?
So no Chan.
Chan.
Underage.
Never mind.
Okay, thank you. I sometimes need these foreign terms, these muggle terms explained. So yes, whatever that meant, no to that. But what was your other,
Oh,
how do you feel about Yowie and?
yeah,
did-
because you feature prominently in it,
I'm
and I'm a
featured
huge Snarry
prominently
shipper.
in it.
If you know what Snarry is.
I looked it up on the internet and have you ever seen The Crying Game? I spent a lot of time in.
Good answer.
Cheaper than
I-
therapy.
Hmm?
Cheaper than